Hey everyone, my name's Alex and welcome to another Civilization 6 video. I hope you've all had a great Christmas. So I thought I would round this year off with our Civ content, looking once again at more civilizations we'd like in Civ 6. This is a topic I have looked at before in lots of detail, and some of the ideas in this video are ideas I visited before and mentioned before, but it's the end of the year and I thought this would be kind of a good summary video for the kind of things I'd like to see from new civilizations coming next year. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to look at 3 more civs I'd like to see in this game. They're all different, they all have different ideas about them, so hopefully you will enjoy them, and thank you to everybody who did comment on my post about this, giving me your ideas for what you'd like to include, because they have formed the backbone of this video. So the first civilization that would make a cool addition for me is the European civilization of Switzerland. Thank you very much, Spencer, for suggesting this one. Now, Spencer's ideas of using diplomatic favour modifiers and bonuses to science, gold, train tracks, and a unique mountain improvement to make better use of mountains all fit in with some of the things I most associate with Switzerland and are therefore great ideas. William the Conqueror, a regular contributor to this channel. I don't think it's the actual William the Conqueror, by the way, but I've not been proved otherwise, so who knows. Anyway, over on Civ Fanatics, he has designed a whole Swiss civilization. The reason I bring this up is firstly because I think you should go and check out William's Civ ideas out there, because they're very good and he contributes regularly to the channel. So if you're watching this, leave a link in the comments, William, that'd be cool. And secondly, the reason I'm mentioning this is because their ideas encompassed other great ideas I have for Switzerland, including bonuses to defense. Now, as I'm sure many of you will have encountered, through a mix of military deterrence, through terrain and diplomacy, Switzerland is famous for not being invaded within both world wars, despite being at the centre of Europe, which makes defensive bonuses seem like an obvious direction of travel. So from all you contributors there, I've managed to put together some very good ideas on the kind of direction we could take Switzerland in. However, I have a well-rounded idea of my own, something which I really want to see in some form in Civilization 6. So, the way I'd like to approach Switzerland is with a slightly different take on city-state diplomacy. Now, I've wanted to see this mechanic for ages, like I just said. So, what I think is, Switzerland is a federation. It's essentially a collection of individual regions known as cantons. In times gone by, these cantons were in fact once fully sovereign states, and even today they enjoy a considerable degree of independence and individuality. So what I'm proposing is a diplomatic system where you can peacefully annex city-states into your federation. Perhaps they would still offer considerable bonuses in their speciality to internal traders or yields. And if you combine this with the defensive bonuses I previously mentioned, and probably some loyalty bonuses as well, so they don't flip to your enemies, you could then use this new mechanic to expand your territory and create more territorial outposts. This could either be a great way to boost your empire towards any victory type. Can you imagine having the bonuses of city-states and internal trade routes giving you those bonuses within your empire that would boost you in any way you'd like? But I think it would also be a different way to get diplomatic victory points, giving Switzerland a unique way of approaching that victory type. The reason I picked Switzerland in this video is because I feel like they could get very creative with it, and for any civilizations going forward, I really do hope they continue to push the boundaries in game mechanics and just make them as creative as possible. So whereas I chose to go with Spencer's Switzerland idea because there's so many things we could do with that, and because I wanted to emphasize that whatever goes on beyond this, whatever civs they add in the New Frontiers Pass, or if they do any more civilizations afterwards, I want them to get as creative as possible. The reason I've added this next one, which is a suggestion of my own by the way, is because it emphasizes one point I want to keep raising, and that is the history of those civs such as India and China have potential to be the basis for more than just one civilization, and this goes for far more civs in Civ 6 as well. There's a lot more we could actually do with what we already have, or the lands that are already represented. So my suggestion here is the Mughal Empire, and although this is largely based in what is now recognised as northern India, it was far different from the country we know today as India. The empire was founded in the early modern era, about 1526, by Babur. What I really like about this is that I'm ending the year by pronouncing something wrong. It wouldn't be right if I pronounce something right at the end of the year, so I apologise if I butchered that pronunciation. But anyway, he was a warrior chieftain from what is now modern-day Uzbekistan. Now, just focusing on this civilization for a second, some interesting things that the civilization could take include most obviously military domination, because the Mughal Empire was very militaristic at times, but this could also be combined with bonuses that reflect that by contemporary standards, the Mughal Empire did not forcefully suppress the peoples and cultures it conquered as much as you'd perhaps expect for that time, but instead it practiced what can be considered administrative and efficient rule, and that the relative peace of the empire oversaw during the 17th century was actually a big factor in opening up its lands to economic expansion. So there's lots of things they could do with the Mughal Empire, essentially. Now, although the Mughal Empire is the precise example I've given here, I want to stress again, my main point that I want to kind of emphasize in this little bit is that we could do so much more with the lands of India and China, and just because India's included in Civilization 6, for example, doesn't mean that the Mughal Empire shouldn't have a chance of featuring and things like that. And this also counts going forward to Civilization 7, because I think the more creative they get with Civs, the better it'll be. Just look at Gran Colombia. How excited were people for Gran Colombia, and they'd probably never appreciated that it existed before it was included in Civ 6. Well, some people would have, but you know what I mean, you know. Getting creative and representing these kind of empires and people is a very good thing to do. The final suggestion I have today comes from Matthew Williams, and that is the Seminole. Now, I apologise if I butchered that, but like I said, it would be wrong if I pronounced everything right in this last video of the year. Anyway, the Seminole were/are a Native American people emerging from the groups who settled in Florida in the 18th century. Due to its history, it's likely that the tribe would include bonuses focusing on trade, territorial expansion, and military conflict. One thing I would say is that because a lot of these tribes focused in similar things, making the Native American people in a way that each offer a unique gameplay experience in Civilization 6 sure is a challenge to the developers, but I'm sure they'd pull it off. So another Native American tribe sure is a cool thing that they could do. Anyway, the main reason I went with this suggestion is once again not actually because of this specific civilization in particular. Now, though I do think they are interesting and I do want to see another Native American people in Civilization 6, the main reason I went with these is to evidence that there's so many great possible civilizations out there that you've probably never heard of and that could still make great additions. Yes, I want to see Portugal in Civilization 6, and I want to see so many more of the big civs in Civilization 6, don't get me wrong, but it's important we get the balance right. The big European civilizations are always fun to play as, but what I love about Civ, and Civ 6 in particular, is that it introduces players to other stories and historical perspectives too. Even if the Civ may be considered niche and relatively unknown, I will give it a chance, and I know a lot of people out there will give it a chance, because it's important that we don't just focus on the Western European version of history, and instead we embrace more cultures, and I like learning about new people and civilizations. So yeah, anything that's new is definitely something I'd be up for. The final thing I want to do in this video is firstly give a shout out to everybody who's commented on my videos with civilization ideas, or who commented on the post I made with civilization ideas. They do mean a lot to me that people enjoyed these sort of videos that much that they just kind of leave your suggestions around, so thank you. I try and keep all the ideas in my head, and maybe you could pick some of your ideas out of here, because it's always hard to kind of remember who said what exactly, but thank you if you do that. I'd also like to give out shout outs to people who suggested things like the Burmese Empire, Ireland, Portugal, Lombardy, Lithuania, Bulgaria, and many, many more. Thank you to everybody who's commented on my videos, whether it's in the last 12 months or before. I really do appreciate it, and I wish you all a very happy new year and look forward to making more content in 2021. Thank you so much for watching this video today. If you want to see more content from this channel, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, check out the video in the box below. I don't know what it is, but I'll pick something appropriate. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex, and I will see you in another video soon.